Hey, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus, US PPI Oil Open, US Open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. All right, we have watched that German PPI 1,000 times. It never does anything. Part of the issue with German news is you want to be looking at the FESX or the
1 minute remaining.
DAX.
I'll lead with German CPI year on year.
So those are instruments, FDAX, that move much better on German news than the euro. The FDAX and the FESX, you have to pay extra for the data feeds. So that's one of the reasons I think a lot of the German news doesn't really seem to do much. But if you were overseas and you were subscribing to
Secured
those
overnight
data
financing
feeds,
rate
it might be different.
3.67%, February 26th, unchanged from February 25th.
And then, I'm just throwing the euro up.
Just under
We've
10 seconds
looked
remaining.
at this with the euro many, many times. It really hasn't done much.
One spot 9%, 1.9%, lower than forecast, 2%.
So you could see it was just
HICP year on year, 2%,
couple of
2%, lower than
tick move,
forecast,
2 ticks.
2.1%. HICP month on month, 0.4%, 0.4%, lower than forecast, 0.5%.
Not
German
exactly
CPI
a
month on
big
month,
news move.
0.2%, 0.2%, lower than forecast, 0.5%.
Now I don't have the German DAX or the FESX, so I don't know how much they're moving. All right, back on GC. Now, interesting, gold made a move. Now that's fascinating. I've been watching gold, getting ready to do a magnet, it looks like to me. And it's been very consolidative, hanging around.
According to here, according to Al Arabia
But it looks like
correspondent,
it's
the
getting
U.S.
ready
State
to do the
Department has
magnet
ordered the
now.
evacuation of non-essential staff and their families from the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
It definitely looks like it's going up. Well, we're here for PPI, though we're here for a real reason. So I wasn't really going to trade the gold magnet at the moment, but it really looks like it's going to do it. It's probably going to do it without me because, like I said, we're here for PPI, not the gold magnet. But, so let's say, it's definitely gold is going to move a lot on the news. So, but it's very possible this magnet's going to take place way before the news. It's only $7, and gold could move $7 in a second, and it's moving right now. XYZ is yeah. Every company replacing every worker with AI, isn't that the real headline? Every company replacing everyone with AI. That's what it seems like. Sure seems crazy. It does seem crazy, the world we're in. All right, let's look at the DMM. And of course, I don't have to tell you that PPI, this report has a lot of risk. It has a lot of risk. All right? It's a given. There's also Canada GDP, and I'm really not going to trade Canada GDP this morning. It's an event that hasn't been moving very much. Now, in January, our trap did get blown. And it happens occasionally where the move was like 200 ticks. So those things happen. Traps do get blown, but they usually don't get blown 2 times in a row. And I think my preference on this report, um, lower risk would be the RTY, the breakout, and then high risk would be the gold trap. That's how I would look at this for trading this report. Now I'll trade both in separate prop accounts, and then we'll be back. We'll be hanging around for the open. So that's how I see it. I think it's always possible that a trap can get blown with too much movement, but we have been seeing
China's embassy in Israel issues urgent notice on security as well.
we have been seeing not absolute out of control moves on quite a few of the reports. In other words, our trap trades have been surviving the spikes. So, but PPI is one of those reports where you just never know what's going to happen. We do have large tiers. If you want, you can trade just the outer tier to reduce risk. You could trade micros with a bigger stop. You know, you can blow up a prop account with this kind of report, so it's important to know that it could happen. All right. Dell's one of those earnings reports. I'm always surprised it doesn't really move the market. It just doesn't move the markets anymore. All right, so setting up a trap. And it's going to be an 829.55 on the trigger. 829.55. The stop is 30 to start. And then tier 1 is 40, 70, 45. Tier 1 is 70. And we might not even get a fill. Maybe we won't get this kind of a huge move that we're expecting. But this report has been a big mover even prior to gold's volatility. So 70 and 105 on the tiers. I'm trading it in the prop account I've been using all week, 37. I'm going to label it Trap GC. And I checked my time before. I put it on 0 because I wanted to see. Hey, there goes gold, son of a gun. It's going to go test that high right now.
Order submitted. Order
I just
canceled.
wanted to make sure my orders worked. So we've got a trap that's ready to trade. And then I'm going to put a reverse, there's the test, reverse continue on the chart. I'm a little bit aggravated with myself. I just didn't put a trade on a different chart, different account. And you could use micros too. Wow. Something's going on in the Middle East, unfortunately. I'm not sure it's happened yet, but we have to be really careful here. You know, we had an issue on a news report where the market just wasn't safe to trade. So if all of a sudden the gold market doesn't appear safe, I'll just trade RTY. Yeah, I thought we destroyed their nuclear facilities. I thought it was obliterated, quote unquote. It was obliterated. Right now, it's not safe to trade gold. That's the reality. It's not safe. I mean, it was for the magnet, but it may not be for this type of a report because it's clearly something's going on. It does seem to be Iran or something else. And, you're allowed to just say, hey, I'm not going to trade right now until things calm down. You are allowed. That doesn't mean that we're stupid or failures or anything like that. Looking at the size of that burst, just, that's a 1 minute candle. It's 134 ticks in 1 minute. Going to put a reverse continue on the chart. Changing the breakout to a reverse continue. A 40 tick target, 40 tick stop. Remember, this is just discretionary. It's not a trade you even have to take. Labeling it GC, reverse continue. Apply it, okay it. So we'll see if gold calms down. And then we do have an RTY breakout on this report. Putting a reverse continue on the RTY, just one contract. 35 target, 35 stop. Same thing, it's a discretionary maybe trade, if you know what I mean, reverse continue. Label it RTY, reverse continue. Let me check my time on my gold trade. I don't think I ever set it back. 8:29.55. 70 and 105 on the tiers. The stop is 37. The software is putting the stop in, which it will do if our stop is not in the right place. I just let the software handle the stop if it's a little bigger than the DMM. Sometimes that happens. That's automated. 8:29.55 is our trigger. 70 and 105 on the tiers. And obviously, now the market has calmed down. So if it stays calm, I'll trade it, understanding the risk to the prop account. And then on the RTY, our breakout, 829.58. Bracket of 20. Targets of 20 and 35. The stop should be 50 on the RTY. I'm using 50. 20 and 35 on the target, stop 50. Bracket of 20, 829.58. Going to look at the bracket with time set
Bank
to
of England's
0
pill says disinflation process
charts on
advanced
SIM,
and intact. It's a pill speaking in a
labeling it
panel discussion.
BRK RTY.
So a reminder
Everything
with
in
pill, the
SIM.
Zoom link is on the economic calendar on the website. We'll pop it on the feed for you. So Pill
Order
says we should
submitted.
not be lulled into false
Order
sense of
canceled.
security by falls in headline security driven by one-off factors.
Highlighting the breakout, I'm just going to go to optional and uncheck show vertical line on entry.
Order submitted.
So the bracket looks okay. Certainly tradable.
Order canceled.
I'm just watching the RTY for volatility. That's all I'm watching. RTY for volatility. So our biggest candle in the past few minutes was 22 ticks.
Pill says disinflation is not yet complete and underlying pressures are key.
Just taking a look at the ES. The markets are not happy this morning, right? And Q, and the YM broke the lows, down 400. Very negative markets. Obviously, world news weighing on everything pretty heavily.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Now, sometimes you could get a muted report because of world news. Sometimes you can get just a move in one direction, in the direction the market's been going on world news, regardless of what the news is. Um, it might not be a bad idea because of gold's volatility to just trade micros on gold. It's just the risk is very large. You could lose $1,000 on this report, and gold, we had that very large move. We thought the market had calmed down a bit. And then you have another 77 tick burst, right? So I'm not dying to blow up accounts. That's not my goal. Yeah, and what's going on with Pakistan? It's like the world has become such an unsafe place. Not helped. Not being helped.
Pentagon's Michael on Anthropic says US offered concessions. This is Pentagon's
So the
Undersecretary Michael
RTY,
speaking on
I'm
Bloomberg
gonna
TV. Again,
slightly
US offered concessions on Anthropic.
upgrade the bracket to
Let's keep an eye
25.
on gold
I'm
moving
just concerned
towards
that this
the
is not
upside
a
or continuing to move since
safe
about
market
8 a.m. Eastern. No news to back the movement up.
because
Hasn't been.
clearly
We
this
have been
movement
looking. If there is anything,
is
we'll
no
relay that to
news,
you
but it's
as soon as
news
we can.
related,
Of
if
course,
you
we
know
do
what I
have the
mean.
upcoming PPI data
World news.
in about 10 minutes.
So I'm going to go with a 25, a little bit big bracket, a little bit bigger on RTY. RTY still has plenty of risk. It's, $700 if you get stopped. 2 contracts, 50 times, $600.
Pentagon's
50
Michael
stop.
on Anthropic says it's surprising they cut off talks. So 10 minutes away from the bottom of the hour, we get the PPI data for the
Now,
month of
with this
January.
kind of news,
Forecast for the
sometimes,
year-on-year
regardless of what's
2.6%,
going on in
prior
the world,
3%,
you
with a range
get
of 2.9 to
a
2.3%.
2-minute news response,
PPI
and then the
month-to-month
markets go
forecast
right back to
0.3%,
what's going
price
on in the world,
0.5%, with
if
a
you know
range
what
of
I mean.
0.6 to 0.1%.
So
Core PPI year-on-year
I
forecast
guess I'm going to
3%, price
trade it.
3.3%, with a range of 3.3% to 2.8%. Core PPI month-to-month
So
forecast 0.5%,
RTY
forecast
breakout
0.7%, price 0.
is right there.
Forecast
We have an
0.3%,
RTY
price
reverse
0.7%,
continue.
with a range of 0.5 to
And
0.2%.
what I'm
We
going to
also
do
get
on
Canadian
gold
data as well. Before we continue, seeing spot
is
silver
up
rising
the
over
tiers.
3%.
I know you might think I'm crazy,
Let's go back
but
to the expectations then. Canadian GDP quarter-on-quarter annualized forecast minus 0.2% prior to 0.6%. It's
I
Q4,
think
Q4,
you just
with a
got to
range of
watch gold.
0.5 to
I
minus
think you just got to
0.9%.
watch gold.
GDP month-to-month for Canada forecast 0.1% prior
It's too
0%.
much risk at this moment.
Pentagon's Michael on Anthropic says, let's see how today goes. We want to continue dialogue. And also says that I offered more talks.
So that's what I'm thinking, folks. I think gold just is too risky.
And Canadian
It's not
GDP
even the
quarter-on-quarter
RTY
prior
is very
0.6%.
risky this morning. Now, you could up the tiers. I was thinking I'll up the tiers on gold. Go to 150 on the upper and 110 on the lower. And what's the worst thing that can happen on a trap trade
Pentagon official
is
on Anthropic
you don't get
reiterating
filled.
today's deadline.
That is you get stopped.
So remember
The
the
second worst
specific
thing
time is 5:01
is
p.m. Eastern Time.
you don't get filled. And not getting filled is not even a terrible thing. It just means your trade doesn't take place. So if we're wrong, but I don't think we're wrong. I mean, even 150 could be too small this morning. Look at the movement in the past 3 minutes. 100 ticks. And it's moved a lot more than that, right? In 10, 15 minutes. So even a 150 tier is not that big in relation to the behavior of the gold market at the moment. And the RTY has plenty of risk as well.
Pentagon's
You have
Michael on
outsized
Anthropic says we
moves.
want to
These are
continue
not
dialogue today.
totally normal moves. I think we all understand that. So I'm a little bit nuts. I'm going to trade the gold trade. I'm kind of recommending that most of you don't. I think gold's very, very volatile. I think it's world news that is not known yet or that the world is worrying about, the markets are worried about.
Bank of England's
Iran.
Pill says UK growth is positive but not driving living standards.
So my setup is 829.55.
Pentagon's Michael
bracket.
says we need to be able to take weapons down fast.
My tiers are 110 and 150. And my stop is 50.
So of course, with all these evacuations
And
being
I
announced,
don't care if I don't
since
get filled.
around 8 o'clock in the morning, to see gold moving
All right.
towards the upside. There's nothing else. Of course, WTI as well, continuing to move towards the upside, up about 3.13% now. And take a look to then the expectations for the PPI data. PPI year-on-year forecast 2.6%, prior
And then
3%.
RTY,
Month-to-month forecast 0.3%, prior
I've got a
0.5%.
25
Core
bracket.
PPI year-on-year forecast 3%, prior 3.3%. Core
And I
PPI
think there's
month-to-month
risk in
forecast
any market,
0.3%, prior
obviously, that you
0.7%.
trade this morning.
Canadian
Because it's
GDP
hard to
quarter-on-quarter annualized
separate the news
forecast minus
from the market
0.2%, prior
moves
2.6%.
because the market's
And
worried about the world.
GDP month-to-month forecast
829.58,
0.1%, prior
25
0%.
bracket,
Canadian GDP
50 on the
quarter-on-quarter
stop,
prior
20
0.6%.
and 35 on the targets. And I'll go to break even if it hits the first target, BE, if it hits my first target.
Spot gold rising nearly 1%.
Now, if you want to cancel a trade at the last second, you just uncheck your checkbox. All right? You just uncheck your checkbox if you feel it's too not safe to trade.
That concludes Pentagon Michael's interview on Bloomberg TV.
I think also the worry is that gold's just going to go in one direction on the news, no matter what happens, because it's just being pushed upward by, yes, Frank 50, by world news or world lack of news, world worry. So I really think that we shouldn't be trading this report. So that's my position. Don't trade the report. I think the risk is too great. Even the RTY doesn't look like a safe instrument to trade at the moment. So I would not trade the report. I'm going to trade it because I want to see what happens. It's prop. It's not cash. No way would I trade this with cash under any circumstances. If you don't mind, trading your prop account with this kind of risk, we all know the reality of prop trading. It's not that big a deal if it doesn't work out. But if cash doesn't work out, it's lost cash, then I don't think the market is safe right now. Okay? And if I'm wrong, I don't care. That's my official stance. Gold, the worry is, I mean, now it's starting to pull back a little bit, but the worry is no matter what the news, it's going to go up. That's the worry with gold. So obviously, we want it to go down on the news,
1 minute ago
fill
now,
us
lead with
long.
PPI year on year.
So you could um, just allow a long trade and move your orders on top away if that's what you think might happen. So RTY on the right, gold on the left.
10 seconds.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay,
2.9%,
RTY was
2.9% higher than the
perfect.
forecast of 2.6%.
RTY was
PPI month
perfect.
to month, 0.5%, 0.5% higher than the forecast of 0.3%. Just seeing a little bit of movement towards the upside on the dollar
And
a
gold,
little bit of downside on the
so
S&P
gold
500.
went
Core
down
PPI year on
on
year,
the news.
3.6%, 3.6% higher than the forecast of
And
3%. Core PPI month to month, 0.8%, 0.8% higher than the forecast
now
of
it's probably going to do its
0.3%.
reversal. The
Canadian GDP quarter on
tiers
quarter
were
annualized
too
minus
big on
0.6%,
gold.
minus
Okay, the
0.6%,
tiers were too
lower than
big
the
on
forecast of
gold.
minus 0.2%. And
Now,
Canadian
if it
GDP month
fills
on month,
long, I would
0.2%,
allow it.
higher than the
I would
forecast
allow that.
of 0.1%.
Now,
Seeing
it
here,
could still
OpenAI
stop me out.
says Amazon investment starting with initial
It could
$15
still
billion
stop me out and
investment.
ruin this account. But
Order
OpenAI
canceled.
says that
if it fills long, I'm going to move
Amazon
my
will invest $50 billion in
targets
OpenAI, and
closer,
OpenAI is to
right?
consume 2
Moving my
gigawatts of
targets
training capacity
closer.
through
Right now, it
AWS.
only filled
So
one
Amazon
tier.
said will invest $50 billion
I
in
may need
OpenAI,
to
and it will
cancel the
start with
outer
initial
tier. With the
$15
cancel
billion.
the outer tier button, if we get
OpenAI says
upward
scaling AI
movement.
for everyone, and OpenAI is announcing $110 billion
Now,
in new investment.
turning off
And
the
seeing the
RTY
euro Swiss franc
breakout.
dropping to 0.5%, the lowest since January 2015.
Now, we could still get a fill of the gold
So
tier
OpenAI says we're
2,
announcing
or we
$110
could
billion
start to get a
in new investment
reversal.
at a
Now,
$730
gold's very
billion
bullish,
valuation.
so we should get some sort of a reversal. I'm getting ready to cancel the outer tier and
Order
move my
canceled.
stop to safety. So no matter what, I can't lose. Well, I'm so darn close. I don't want to turn off this trade yet. I want to wait for the reversal.
So OpenAI and AWS
Now
are
we're
expanding
getting it.
existing pact by $100 billion
Now
over
we're
8
getting it.
years.
So I'll move my stop to break even.
OpenAI fundraise
Stop to
includes
break
$30 billion
even
from
if we
SoftBank.
get our reversal. Now, you could close the trade right now. Now we're getting the reversal. I'm trying to trail
OpenAI fundraise
because gold is
includes
bullish.
$30 billion from NVIDIA.
We needed those big tiers. That's the truth. Maybe gold's going to go and make the high. So I'm going to try and stay in it. Right? Try and stay in it. We needed those big tiers. There's no question. If you
Seeing prior
took the
revisions coming
trade, if
through
you're
as
as
well.
crazy as I am,
Core
it's a
PPI
very
month-to-month prior
manageable
revised to
trade. It was
0.6%
not out
from
of
the original
control.
prior of 0.7%. PPI month-to-month
I think
prior
gold
revised
may
to
make a new
0.4%
high.
from the original
Now
prior
it
of
could, of course, we
0.5%.
could get a reversal here
Order
and give up
canceled.
some of our profit, which is
And
what
Canadian
happened.
quarterly GDP
$500
for fourth
trade.
quarter
A
prior revised to
$500
2.4%
trade.
from the original prior
Now,
of 2.6%.
I still do not
Seeing spot
feel
gold a little
bad
changed after
about
PPI
telling
data
people not to trade.
lost
I
about
really
0.8%.
think it was an unsafe market. It worked. It worked, but it still, there was a lot of unsafe conditions, okay? Trader Buzz. Where can I
OpenAI
find
is
company
expanding
earnings release
long-standing
date and
pact
time?
with NVIDIA.
Check out earningswhispers.com. Earningswhispers.com. So I suppose everybody can be very angry at me, but I don't want people to get hurt, and the market seemed very unsafe. Look, have we ever had 100 and 150 tiers on gold? Not very often. Not very often. Now, something happened during the trade where my chart wasn't wide enough. My gold trading
Microsoft
chart
says
wasn't
new
wide
funding doesn't
enough
change relationship with OpenAI.
to see the cancel outer tier button. We only filled one order, one tier. And then the reversal started to take
Seeing Amazon
place.
shares moving
Up
lower
at the
after
top of the
companies to
chart,
invest
I had
$50
to
billion
make my
in
chart
OpenAI,
wider
last down
so I
1.2%
could
pre-market.
see the cancel outer tier button. Okay, that allowed me to cancel the order that was in the way of the stop so I could move my stop to safety without the extra order being in the way. I'll show you on the video what I mean. Now look, the RTY, looking at the news is quite negative on the PPI.
Also seeing
It's
Canadian
quite
GP
negative. The
quarter coming
PPI
in
is
at a
way up,
-0.2%.
way up. It looks like terrible news. Okay? Way up on year over year, on core, on everything. It looks very bad news. So, in a sense, you had the luck of the market moving in the direction it was moving in before the report. Now, what's really fascinating is gold doing a really strong reversal.
Seeing Microsoft shares falling 2.4%
Two
pre-market,
reversals. It
now higher
started
slips 0.7%.
just selling off on the news. And if our tiers had been too small, we would have gotten stopped and not been able to take advantage of that 1 minute reversal that almost looked like gold was going to go to the high of the day. And now it's just doing a very strong change of direction. So the way we managed the trade was a good way to manage the trade. I'll show you the video.
OpenAI and Amazon say Trainium 4 is expected to begin delivery in 2027.
Let me just remove the trap. All right, here's the video. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we put our tiers in and we made them significantly bigger. All right. The tiers are significantly bigger because we're very worried about the market behavior. Now, up at the top, my chart wasn't horizontally wide enough to see the
Amazon
cancel
says that we're
outer
able to
tier
tailor
button.
OpenAI models for
So
use
what's going
across
to
AI
happen
products.
is the news comes out and it essentially goes down. It chopped for an instant, goes down, keeps selling off. Slowly, I was thinking of canceling in this area. I was thinking of canceling because I thought I just had set the tiers too big. So we get a fill. I made the stop bigger. I just wanted room. I didn't want to have to worry about a random burst and being taken out of the trade. With the movement we had, and especially right there after getting filled and then being in profit, I'm thinking we're in a trade that's going to work. Now, I noticed that I didn't have my cancel button, outer tier, available.
Canadian dollar gives back slight gain after
That's
GBP
why
data
I
to trade near
widened the chart,
unchanged on the day against the dollar.
because the tier is in the way of the stop. If I want to move my stop above break even, the second tier, the order hasn't been filled, it's in my way. The cancel outer tier cancels the second order. So if it doesn't fill, now we get another reversal, so I'm not going to do anything yet. Wait and see if the market fills it or if it reverses again. Looks like it's starting to reverse again. So now I'm thinking I've got to cancel this outer tier, get rid of this order, which I just did, and that allows me to move my stop to safety, and the order is not in the way. But I didn't want to get tagged out of the trade by moving too soon. So I waited a bit.
U.S. Energy
But
Secretary Wright says revenue from Venezuelan oil
that's how
sales
you want to
are no
trade
longer
a
being
one
routed through Qatar.
tier
Revenues going
trap
straight to U.S. Treasury
that
accounts.
has started to reverse in your direction. You want to try and get to a position of being able to trail, so you can keep making more profit until the market turns
Bank of
on you.
England's Pill says, I am on the cautious side.
The hard part
We
about
shouldn't be
trailing
complacent.
manually is trying to keep yourself away from the current price, far enough away so you don't get filled, but that you keep improving your profit. I really thought it might get to the high of the day. It had that look, but you had momentum against us. And then let's take a quick look at the RTY. I really felt that these markets were not safe. You don't know. The reality is you just don't know. Um, the worst that happens with a prop account is if you trade it in a funded account, you blow up a serious account that you've spent a ton of time on. When you're just trading this kind of report in a eval account, the repercussions are pretty minor. If you have a winning trade, then you're heading towards passing the eval. And if you ruin the account, you could wait for it to reset. Most of everybody buys these accounts on sale, so they're cheap to reset. They're cheap to wait. Most of ours are $15 if we wait. If you reset it, the company we use, Bullinox, they charge $39 for a reset. Reset means you start the account over as if you just purchased it. Starts over. That's not a super serious repercussion. It's not as serious a repercussion as trading a trap trade in a cash account with a 50 tick stop that stops you out for $1,000. It seemed to me that this report, just because of the news, the way the market was behaving, might be too risky to trade today. All right, I want to thank everybody on YouTube. I'm going to end our stream this morning. Thanks everyone on YouTube for watching. Let me make sure that we were streaming the PPI, that was our promise this morning. No, you know what? We were promising the market open, so I'll keep the stream
Now
going.
speaking in a CNBC
Okay.
interview, OpenAI
So
CEO
YouTube,
says
I'm
we
going
will
to keep the
continue to do
stream
our
going.
work with Microsoft.
All right, let me reset things here. Just turning off all my setups at the moment. Quick look at the news. PPI year over year, way up. So producer price index, the core way up, 3.6 versus 3. Month over month, way up, 0.8 versus 0.3. Canada GDP was up a little bit. And down, it was mixed, their news. Just out of curiosity, let me turn on our video and get ready for the next room. The next event, I should say.
Amazon Jassy says, I think we can help OpenAI quite a bit. IMF's managing director Georgieva says, I expect the US economy to get stronger in 2026.
Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus, the Oil Open and the US Open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay. So just a quick look, 6C, Canada. So Canada at 8:30, we would have
We
had a
have
trap
posted out the US
trade,
PPI report on the
10
feed for you to
and
read through,
20
as
on the
we have also posted
tiers.
out the Canadian GDP
10 and
December
20
Q4
on the tiers
2025
this morning.
report on the feed as well.
That would have not worked this morning, it looks like.
So that's monthly and the quarterly.
The
in the same report.
spike, let's see, 2-minute spike, 17 ticks. No, it would have worked. 2-minute spike, then it didn't reverse very much. What was the total move down? I'm curious about. So 23 ticks. Our trap.
Oldman says we continue to see rapidly growing
If you
demand.
stayed in, 23 ticks would not have stopped you out. It reversed off the low. Whether it continues reversing is whether or not Canada would have been worth trading. But 23 ticks on the news, it's just not a very big moving report. So it wasn't a
said
stop
Amazon can
out,
deliver new demand and huge
but at the
incremental
moment
revenue.
it didn't do a very big reversal. It did a small reversal after the first move. Am I calculating the ticks right? $23. Yep. All right, so oil, which I've had enough of in the morning. Now, with the news doing what it's doing, it's absolutely no surprise that oil is on a relentless move up, right? If things are very warlike, especially in the Middle East area, that's going to be very bullish for oil. So I'm definitely not interested in losing money on another oil trade because the setup has
IMF's
been
managing
extremely
director Georgieva
difficult.
says we expect unemployment in the US to stay around 4%. So she's currently speaking in a Fox Business interview.
So putting oil on, I'm just not interested in trading it, folks. I'm just not interested in trading oil. This is the last day. It's Friday. I'm definitely not trading it next week. So I don't know how many of you out there are still trading the oil open, but it's been very difficult. Now we usually have YM. It's probably making new lows. Now everything's starting to pull off the lows. There's still no news on, why there was a big sell-off. The Dow's down over 500. It's not unusual to get a pullback off of a low. Now, look, we have multiple prop accounts. We could trade the oil trade with one contract, right? It's Friday. It's the last time I'm scheduling the oil trade.
Alban says, as long as revenue keeps growing, then deals are not circular.
If I were going to trade it, and I want to shrink my chart a little bit, I would trade it with lower risk because I've been doing so poorly on this particular report. Now, some people have done better. If you manage it better, I have not managed it well, but also it's hard to pay attention to this report. Hard to pay attention to the report with the other open trades working nicely. You want to spend your time on those. So I'm just curious, is anyone still interested in trading the oil open? Anybody out there? Type in what you're
Barclays
thinking about it.
considers blockchain platform for payments and deposits.
Now the YM, I'm going to put my normal, what we do in the morning, put our reverse continue on it. It's really cold in my office today. And it's not even that cold out. It's colder out than I thought. And the dog is in the way here. Watch out, Spock. So putting on a reverse continue, 35 ticks, 35 stop. On the YM. And I'm going to put that on our trying to think which funded account I want to put it on. I'll put it on the one I've been trading it on. So that's YM reverse continue. So that's just a potential reverse continue. I was thinking of doing things a little bit differently this morning to test something. So also, I needed to shrink the chart a little bit.
IMS Managing Director Georgieva says there is phenomenal growth for new companies that will generate jobs in the US.
All right, so then I'm going to take off my reverse continue for the moment. I'm going to try and do it from within the magnet. Turn on the magnet. And we've got a reverse continue built into the magnet. One position. Target one is 35 and the stop is 35. And I'll trade it in the same account. YM. So position 1 is a 1. Stop is
Jassy
35.
says as
Target's
growth rates are
35.
high, we'll spend more capital.
Trading the YM magnet in that funded account. All right, and then if you want to do a high of day, low of day magnet, percent proximity, doing one position, stop of 40, and a target of -3, default, -3. Now, I prefer to do a reverse continue. If you own all the software, I prefer to do a reverse continue outside of the magnet. Now, here's my long order, short order. We've already been making new lows all morning. This is not, well, we've pulled off the low. It might not be a bad magnet at all, right? Probably the gut feeling is YM's going to make a new low, right? Because the market's so negative. So where's our entry? We're selling at 55 for a target at 29. That's pretty good depending where you want to sell from. You could sell it under, you could sell right under 50. I don't think the
Amazon's
market's
Jassy
going to
says we
go
still
up.
have a strong relationship with Anthropic.
Now, oil, if you're interested in trading it, I'm really not. The YM, if you want to trade that reverse continue, you have buttons. So instead of them being on the chart here, your reverse continue long is here, your reverse continue short is here. Now, oil, our original oil range, it looks to me like the only thing you would want to do with oil is be long this morning because of the news. And that's, you try to think, do I want to outthink the market or do I want to just let it trade? So I'm going to load my template and I'm just going to let it trade in sim. I'm just not interested in the oil trade. So I'll let it trade for a few minutes and then I'll take the chart over to the MNQ for our regular open. So oil open. Oil new open range. I'm going to right click it and date it today. Today's the 27th. Load it. So we start the range at 859. One tick above, one tick below.
Oldman says, I don't think the US
And
should
the
be
range at
threatening DPA on
90040.
AI
A target
firms.
of 8, a target of 20, a stop of 15, BE minus 4 if it hits my first target. And I'm just trading it in sim. All right. I just don't have any interest in losing money or making money on the oil trade. Let's just see what it does. And you can put a reverse continue on the chart if you're going to scalp oil. I'm not going to be scalping oil this morning. And then the YM, if the price goes back down, I will let it fill me for a short. Now the YM really has changed its tone. It made a ton of new lows, right?
Effective Fed funds rate unchanged at 3.64%.
It started making new
26th of February.
lows pretty early. So let's say, for argument's sake, it started making new lows at 630-ish. There's just a ton. And we've had some, directional changes. And then you have this more current period of new lows that started at 750. So 750, we've got 1, 2,
IEA commenting, of
3,
course, the
4,
Iran and
5,
nuclear
6,
safeguards
7,
report
8, 9, 10,
says they
11, 12,
observe
13, 14,
regular
15, like
activity at Iran
20 new
enrichment sites.
lows.
They
20 new
can't
lows.
verify whereabouts of Iran's uranium stockpile. Iran must address with utmost urgency location or uranium. Also, from the report says uranium enrichment to up to 20% and 60% was stored at tunnel complex at Isfahan. Regular vehicle activity could be seen around entrance in
Order
satellite imagery
submitted.
report, according to the IEA report.
Now, oil, I'm leaving it alone because it's only in sim. I would have thought that I wouldn't want to get
The
filled
IEA
short.
says the
Oil's
IEA's
up
lack of access to verify Iran's
$2.54.
enriched uranium stocks is a matter of proliferation concern.
I'm just letting our original trade do what it used to do. Just out
Order
of
submitted.
curiosity. Because the markets are crazy. You get a $2.50 move in oil, and then you do get pullbacks. I mean, they happen. It's a fairly big range this morning. I mean, it's not huge, but it's bigger than we usually see. Normally, I would want my stop a few ticks above the range. Nitin, are you still here?
OpenAI's Omen calls for
Now, we just
de-escalation
missed
in
our target
Anthropic's
by 2
showdown
ticks.
with Hexath,
I'm just curious,
according to the
did
Wall
you
Street Journal.
trade the PPI in a funded account or an eval?
That concludes comments from Oldman and Amazon Jassy on CNBC.
Nice. Okay. So now I feel worse. I don't like to stop people from making money. I don't want to stand in anyone's way. We're all grown-ups, but if
We
I
have put
say
out
I
the
think
article
the
on the feed
market's
for you to
too
read through.
safe, many of you tend to listen to me. So if I say the market's not safe, a lot of you
Oman
don't trade.
informed staff Thursday evening that
Order
the company was
filled.
working
So
with
see
the
what I
Defense
mean about
Department
this oil
to see if
trade?
its models could be
I would
using
have
classified
thought
settings in a way
to go
that kept
long
the same
only.
safety guardrails that have brought its rival
The
Anthropic
market's up
to an impasse.
250, but
No deal has been signed,
it's
and the
so
talks could fall through,
possible
according
to
to a
get a
person
change
familiar
in
with the matter.
direction when the market's up that much.
So Oman said that he hoped help broker a peace between Anthropic and the
Now my
Department of Defense. Says we would like to
stop is
try
at
and help to
BE minus
de-escalate things.
4, remember? BE minus 4 on the stop. This oil trade, it's just really hard to trade, folks. That's the reality. It's very difficult. Yesterday, I got stopped like in 1 minute. Both contracts. 1 minute. And today, you know, it's making new high after new high after new high, and it opens with a range up on the open to catch everybody long. I mean, that's what the market does. You think, oh, it's only going long, and then of course it goes short, right? Because that's what the markets do. That is what they do. Sometimes. It's not always, right? It's not always. Now, I need to make sure my YM is on the right chart. It's supposed to be on 66. Okay. Now, let me put my RTY chart up. So I'm going to put on a reverse continue on the RTY. One contract, 35 ticks, 35 stop for discretionary. And I'm trading RTY on my MNQ funded account. So that's RTY reverse continue. All right. So RTY pushed off the low a little bit also, like the Dow did. And then we have our RTY open. I have a template for it. I'm going to load the template. And it's a range trade. And we're going to start the range at 929.50. 6 ticks above, 6 ticks below. Show the range graphics on the chart. End the range at 930.10. And I have a two contract, one position trade with a 12 tick target. All right. And I'm going to trade it in the MNQ funded account. Label it RTY open. And just triple checking we're on the right account. So we have RTY open, RTY reverse continue. Oil, it's just chopping around now. It hit the first target. It never got close to the second target. Heck, Calvin. No, because look, Calvin, right now it's It's only 5 ticks positive. Now, I could have gotten out with more than $100 profit if I wanted to. But it's just inconsistent. I mean, look, the reality of the oil trade is it's inconsistent. So it is what it is. I'll give it one more minute, and then I'm going to go to the MNQ because that's what we trade. I have my daughter's dogs for a couple of weeks. She's on her way to Hawaii. I'm just sending her a picture of the dogs. The dogs are, she has 3 dogs. I can't watch all 3. They're just, we thought one of them was dying. And she did the stupid thing that people do. They get another dog before the dog dies. And of course, I mean, not of course, but my favorite dog, he's not dying. He got lucky. He's had miracles. He's just had miracles. And he has 2 miracles. He didn't have cancer when we thought he did, and he's not dying. So now she has a 3rd dog. I
Order
can't watch
filled.
all 3. They're a monstrous pain in the butt. But the 2 of her originals are real easy to watch. Now, oil worked great. What are you going to do? Oil worked great. Nothing you can do. You could trade it, knowing it's an inconsistent report, try to really manage it as well as possible, or you could not trade it. So maybe, honestly, maybe, look, we're around when the oil market opens. We could randomly trade it on volatile days. Maybe that's the time to trade it. Leave it alone when it's quiet and just trade it on volatile days. All right, let me show you who I'm watching, if I can find them. They're very good together, but when that 3rd one is in the mix, I can't watch them. The 3rd one is like he's a puppy pretty much, and he's a really poorly behaved dog. I love him, but he's horrible. He's horribly behaved. And all 3 of them together, it's just not possible to do it. 2 is hard enough. But these 2 together, they go for walks phenomenally well. And I like to take them for walks. And when I have the 3rd one, I can't, it's 2 walks. It's a pain. It's just not doable. It's just not doable. All right, we're going on MNQ 0326. Put our reverse continuation up like we always do. MNQ reverse continue, couple of contracts, 1 position, right? 40 tick target, 75 tick stop. And that's in our funded MNQ account. Labeled MNQ reverse continue. All right. Now I just want to remind everybody we have a webinar today. It's a last chance opportunity for people to become members before the magnet is released on Monday. Monday we have a webinar. Everyone will get an email, or if you come to today's webinar, you will get the link for our magnet webinar Monday. Monday we're releasing Magnet 2.0, in a webinar because I want to teach everybody. I want everybody to update, back up their Ninja Trader. I want to do things right. Okay? I want to do things right. It's a little bit more complicated of an upgrade than we've ever had. You know, you have the template file. Here's today's, and I'll tell you what. And then for all of you all, because all of you, most all of you are members. If you're in the trade room, you should be a member. So here's the class Monday. Link if you can't make today's webinar and get the link. But I will be emailing it all through the weekend. Okay, that's the class link for Monday, Roz, so you have it for anybody. You don't have to come to today's webinar. We always make an offer to be a member at the webinar. So if you're a monthly member and you do come to today's webinar, you can save some money by taking the offer that I'm making today in the webinar. In other words, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can always email me if you're a monthly member. You can email me if you want to have a longer membership and save a little bit of money. I'll work with you to do that. All right. Yeah, we do send too many emails. I know, Calvin. It's a problem. How it's so hard to get people to pay attention. I don't even know. We don't even know. We don't even know what to do anymore. You know, in all seriousness, I'm being honest and forthright. We don't know what to do anymore. If you don't send emails, people don't come to the webinars. If I don't send emails, people don't come to the streams. If I send email, we get 10 times as many people at our streams. And I haven't been sending stream emails because I want people to just press the notification button. That's how you're supposed to do it. Let's set up our breakout for the M&Q. It's so complicated in this day and age to try and reach people and to get new people. Oh, man. Tell me, what should I do to get new members in here? Somebody tell me. I'm trying to get on other people's podcasts. I mean, there's things you can try and do. Try and get on other people's podcasts. You know, Traders Corner, Festival of Traders. You do all the multi-company webinars, right? But what are you supposed to do? How do you not send emails if you want to reach people? Now, I could do a podcast every week. I mean, we stream the trade room every day, trying to get people interested in what we do. It's a constant battle. Looking for my MNQ new open. There it is. Right click, rename it today's date. I mean, we don't want to annoy you with the emails. We don't, but we do. Loading it. So we have a breakout on the market open. We're triggering at 929.59, which I'm going to set to 0 just for a minute to watch the bracket. The bracket's 35 ticks. I trade 3 targets on my first target and 1 on my second. And I use usually, I'm going to go 40 ticks on my target. First target today, 100 on my second. 160 on our stop today, and break even if it hits my first target. I'm thinking about it, Roz. That's my next step, is to do a whole AI plan, definitely. But part of the problem too is we're a very small company, And I don't have a lot of help all the time. That's part of the, also, we're small. 35 bracket, targets of 40 and 100, stop of 160, break even. All right, I'm checking the bracket because my time is set to 0. I do think we're going to open lower. That's what I think.
Order submitted. Order
I think the
canceled.
market's going down today. I think the open's going to be negative. I'm not going to trade it that way. I'm just going to trade it like I always do because that's the best way to trade the open. It seems, right? So 929.59 is our trigger, targets of 40 and 100, stop of 160, break even if it hits my first target, and I'm in the funded MNQ account. I'm sure there are lead generation AI tools. I'm sure there's lead generation AI tools that we haven't subscribed to yet. Make sure that your chart trader is on the right chart. Otherwise, you won't see your orders. Okay? Now it's getting really hot in here. No, get over there. All right, let me go over everything. Okay? We have an RTY open. RTY open, thanks to Roz. This is Roz's setup. It's a great little setup. It's a great setup. It's not little, it's just a great setup. It's the great thing about being in a community of people. We share. 929.50 is the range start. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. And we show the range graphics on chart. We end the range at 9:30 in 10 seconds. And 2 contracts, 12 tick target. 25 stop. That's our RTY. It's like a scalp open. That's how I see it. It's like a scalp open because it's a target one. TJ, you're just eating gold up. Are you trading full size gold or micro? I love micro gold. It's a great instrument to trade. Okay, and then we have also a reverse continue on the RTY, 35 tick target, 35 tick stop. On the YM, we have a magnet. Now I want to put a magnet on the MNQ just to watch signals. So let me do that before I forget. So I don't need to put the software on anything except the default, which is off. I'm not trading high of day, low of day, but I'm generating high of day, low of day, and VWAP signals on the MNQ. But I don't need to set up a trade because I have the reverse continue already set up if I want to actually take a trade. I'm just using the magnet to watch signals. That's all. Now, it's never a bad idea, though, to put your magnet on, if you're on a chart and you're trading, put the magnet on the same account. So if you do want to do something, if an opportunity comes up, if you have to do what I'm doing now, highlight, change the software account, you'll lose the trade, right? But if you put everything on the same account, so if an opportunity comes up, you can take a trade inside the magnet. As it is now, I've got the reverse continue and I have my breakout set up. All right, so I'm just watching signals. But we're trading the breakout, and we do have a reverse continuation on tap also. The YM, we have a short magnet set up and also a reverse continue. Now, the one thing I didn't do on the YM magnet is I always forget to set the YM magnet in the morning. Let me just label my MNQ magnet. I always forget to do a break even if it hits the first target. I think I'm only trading one contract, so it doesn't matter. Let's label the MNQ magnet properly. You see, when you have so many setups, you want to make sure it's more important to have your labels, to label all your trades. And let me tell you again why. So when you label it, up here in the control center, I can see MGC magnet. Maybe I want to turn it off and on for whatever reason. All right, so everything is labeled. My YM magnet is labeled. My RTY trades are labeled. Maybe I want to cancel one. So I'm wondering if you want to tell the truth. I always like the truth. Are you unhappy that I talked you out of the PPI trade? Did I do the right thing, or should I just have presented the risk and not said I thought it was unsafe to trade? Should I just have expressed the risk better rather than saying it was unsafe? Just wondering what you think. TJ, I appreciate that. I just want to know what you think. I want to know, did I ruin your morning? Would you have traded that? Would you have been aware how unsafe that market appeared to be? TJ, I think most people should do that. He said, I make my own decisions with my own money, with my money. MNQ touches the new low almost. Misses
Treasury
by a
yields extend
tick.
declines. 10-year falls about falls to 3.97%.
Roz
1 minute
deliberately
to go now to give the
avoids the
market an
high
open
risk,
imbalance.
these high risk trades because the losses can be huge. And there's nothing wrong with that approach either. Remember, there's nothing wrong with the trade the best of the best, not the risky of the riskiest. I'm a skittish trader, TJ. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm still skittish. So these markets can always surprise you on the open. You can always get a completely opposite direction of what you think is going to
10
happen.
seconds.
It's just the way it works.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
I would have rather been filled
Market
short
an open
today,
imbalance. S&P 500
but we
by
hit both
Order
our
filled.
sell side
targets.
318
Order
million.
submitted. Order
Nasdaq 100
filled.
sell
We
side
hit
9
both our
million.
targets
Dow
for a
30
winning
sell side
trade.
27 million.
Order
The Bank
submitted.
Sell
Immediate
side
winner
2 million.
on the MNQ, and I'm worried about the RTY is I'm worried.
Order filled.
Yeah, and the RTY stopped. Darn it. So RTY let us down, and the MNQ was a winner. And the YM hasn't done anything yet. YM hasn't done anything yet. Let's see. I really would have thought these markets would test the low again. The MNQ did test the low right before the news, and then it opened up. Now, I think the RTY may test that low again, but it's a risky short. It is a risky short because it's got upward momentum. I don't like going short with upward momentum. I don't. I usually don't do it. Upward momentum. Now the momentum's going to change, I believe.
The Stoxx
Order
Extend 4 Dow
submitted.
Jones down
I'm
1%.
looking for a short here, and I'm going to get killed. It's going to kill me. It's going to get me. Maybe not. Now the YM never filled. Yeah, the RTY is going to get us. It's going to get me, I think. I only traded one contract, but I still don't want to have a loser. Yeah, it's going to get me. The YM never really made a big decision, right? It never made a big decision about going lower. The MNQ, it's just relentless. It is relentless. And the RTY, it's struggling.
Seeing Warner Bros shares slipping 1.4%. Netflix shares up 8.5%.
The RTY is going to get me, I'm
Seeing
sure.
Paramount
Order
Skydance shares
filled.
marginally
All right,
lower.
I
Company
tried.
wins month-long battle.
I still think
A
it's going to
months-long
test
battle
that
to
low.
buy
I
Warner
really
Bros.
do. I think my stop is too small, but I don't want to kill this account, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Go to another day. Another day. MNQ is a beautiful open. The YM, it's still possible we get this test of the low with the magnet. Waiting
Netflix
to
shares
see.
rise 12%, the biggest jump
Waiting
since
to
January
see if we could get our
2025.
magnet. I think maybe the RTY just needs a stop above the VWAP. That's what I think.
Order
I'm
submitted.
going to try once more. I've got a fair amount of room in that account. I don't like giving it all back. Looking for a test of the low on the RTY. That's what I'm looking for. YM, I have a magnet. Also for a test of the low.
Minutes ago now, we're expecting the US Chicago PMI forecast 52.1, prior 54.
I think the YM is going to fill. The big question is, will it do the test? Will it do the test? It missed the fill by one tick, and I'm not sorry, right? I'm not sorry at the moment.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Bingo on the YM magnet, all right? It was a small
Order
target.
filled.
Bingo on my RTY, made back most of what I lost on two stop outs on the RTY, all right? Only lost 90 bucks when I was down 440 in the fours. YM winner. YM too conservative. Need to trade multiple positions. All right. No reason not to do multiple positions. RTY, it really was just a question of proper stop. Got to go above that VWAP, as painful as it is. You got to give the trade room when the market's that negative. You just have to.
Justice Department says US seeks forfeiture of oil tanker
Now there is
and
a
1.8
Chicago
million barrels of
PMI
crude oil
trade,
as supported Iran
and
and
I look
Venezuela.
at that with gold, and that trade
Maersk
has
has
not
seen
been
unforeseen constraints in the Red
well,
Sea, and Maersk is to reroute some
just very
ships
difficult to
south of
trade a
Africa.
trap also on that news. So looking at, especially with gold, the way it is today. So the Chicago PMI, I just want to get rid of a couple of things here, so it's not so confusing. The YM, I'm pretty much probably done trading. Chicago PMI is a trap, has been a trap trade on gold, right? Um, like 25 and not even that big. It's a small trap, and it's really hard. 15 and 25. You can't trade a trap. 15 and 25 in this market. You can't do it. Also, the market knows the news at 9:42. So we would normally trigger at 9:41.55, right? With a 30 bracket, and you got to at least double the tiers to 35, even more, 35 and 65, say. And I'm just watching it. I would not, I have no idea anymore, honestly, um, because of the behavior of this report and the behavior of current gold market. Very, very difficult to come up with an intelligent setup. And there's like two events with Chicago PMI. So what do I mean? 942 subscribers get the news. Okay? Subscribers get the news. Then at 9:45, the market knows the news. All right? So I'm just doing it in sim as a trap trade at 9:42. 9:42 trap trade. Let's see what would have happened. And I've doubled the tiers. My tiers are 35 and more than double. 35 and 65. 35 and 65 on the tiers. All right? 35 and 65 on the tiers. I want to see what the news is. Chicago PMI.
5 minutes ago, until we're expecting Chicago PMI forecast 52.1, prior 54.
So we can watch the news here. About 6-8 months ago, we used to trade two separate trades. We would put a trade on at 9:42, and then we'd put a trade on at 9:45 if the 9:42
Reeves
trade
will
was over.
approve a deal to buy 23 helicopters from Italy's Leonardo.
So the great thing is that the YM magnet worked again. Almost every morning, the YM magnets work. Have you all noticed that? Almost every morning, the YM magnet works. Now, for me this week, the RTY Open had two stops. One of them was caused by bad data. Bad data. It was the kind of morning. I want to look at the RTY. I think we were filled long on the
Order submitted.
RTY. It's the kind of morning I don't think I wanted to be. Well, you can't say that because the MNQ was a long trade and it just kept going up on the open. So I don't know. It just felt the RTY felt very heavy at the open. So Chicago PMI is out. The market knows what Chicago PMI is. We don't because the news won't come out till 9:45. The market knows, and there was a move, all right? And very possibly
Order canceled.
doubling, more than doubling the tiers would have worked. I'm up 250, okay, on a one position trade. So you have to cancel your outer tier.
Order canceled.
If you want to protect the profit. But look at gold. It's so it's very bullish. I'm not dying to ever be filled short. Now, I canceled that outer tier maybe too
US
soon.
stocks
I would have
extendable,
gotten
S&P 500
filled
down
right about here
1.01%.
on that second tier
US
to be
airline stocks
short.
fall as oil
Okay?
prices
So
jump
I
3%.
might have rushed my cancellation. So here's what I'm going to do. We could get out of this trade with a small profit right now. All right? We could have. All right? Now I can't, but I'm closing it, and I'm going to put the 9:45 trade on. All right? 9:42, there
Order
was an
filled.
opportunity. I could have easily hit the close button and made about 150 bucks. All right? I'm telling you, that is the honest truth. I'm resetting for 9:44.55. Same trap trade. Tiers of 35 and 65. I'm tempted to trade it, but just because this gold market is volatile and you're just getting trap trades whether
1 minute to
there's
go now.
news or not, almost. You know, that's the honest truth, folks. You're just getting news. You're just getting volatility, whether there's news or not. In other words, gold's going up and down, lending itself to random trap trades. And let's be honest, if you're just, I hate to use the words fooling around with prop accounts, and sometimes it feels like fooling around. It doesn't feel
We're
like
seeing
honest,
reports
real
here that
trading
Britain
because
has
you're
said it
taking the kind of
temporarily
risk you would
withdrew
never
its staff
take
from
if you were
Iran due
trading
to
cash.
security
It
situation.
becomes absurd. And that's what I don't like about prop account trading. It becomes absurd. It's not
10
based in
seconds.
reality.
Order submitted.
It's based in what can I do to get money out. I mean, that's all it is. It's not
57.7,
about
57.7.
being a
High in
good
the
trader.
forecast, 52.1.
Trading
Order
cash
cancelled.
is about being a good trader. One tier would
Russell
have
2000
filled
index falling
on
1.7%.
somewhat bullish Chicago PMI. All right. I'm waiting to see now. We don't have a reversal yet. Do we get a fill of the second tier? Did I make our tiers a little too big? It doesn't matter all that much if we get a reversal. I'm thinking now I might have to think about the cancel outer tier button if we get our reversal. But does everybody understand what I mean when I say how a value prop trading can become an absurdity? Is it just me that feels
As a
that
reminder
way?
for the rest of the session, Trump is expected to speak on local TV, but there's no time that's been
I
given for
really
when that could
wonder,
happen.
is it me only that feels that way? I would like to know if you feel that way also. It feels absurd and stupid sometimes, and nobody says it. I'm shrinking my gold targets. I'm shrinking my gold targets. Now, we only really have one gold target because this one's not going to matter. It doesn't matter where that one is unless I put in another order for whatever reason. Now, we're waiting on our reversal, right? We're waiting on our reversal. And I never canceled the outer tier yet because we don't have our reversal yet. We could still get a fill of our second tier.
Order filled.
There it is. And then gold is just going crazy now down. I expanded the stop. Something's going on. And you could see why there's so much risk in trading a random or a trade that has been difficult. Chicago PMI, like I said, look, we're caught in some sort of gold reaction to maybe a British report. Britain has withdrawn its staff from Iran due to the security situation. All right, that could be causing that burst in gold. The markets are still bearish. I'm not taking long signals at new lows at the moment. There's too much risk. The markets are too heavy. I mean, there will be a good long signal, but it doesn't seem like it's now. Now, you are getting a trap trade, so both tiers were filled. So now it's a question, can you survive whatever's going on with gold? It just seems to me that this is not a Chicago PMI trade. It's a more gold behavior, random gold behavior trade. And that definitely creates more risk. Now you have a really nice winning trade. So you move your stop to safety, right? Protect $200-300. Increase your target. Why not increase your target if it keeps going up? Your profit keeps going up,
Order canceled.
and bingo, you wind up with $500 on that trade. Was that a Chicago PMI trade? I don't
Nigeria's
think
Q4 oil
so.
production at
I don't think
1.58
so.
million barrels per day,
Right?
according
Do
to
you
Stats
understand?
Office.
Do you think that was a Chicago PMI trade? I don't. I think it was a random gold behavior trade. And
MFS
in this
creditors
market,
allege
if you give
$930
yourself big
million
enough
shortfall
tiers,
from double pledges.
maybe you could take advantage of some of this gold behavior, right? Watch. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove it. Let's put on a gold trap trade, a random gold trap trade. Given the behavior of these markets, I'm going to put on a gold trap trade. $9.50 and 30 seconds. All right. 9.50 and
As a
30
reminder, with
seconds. I'll use a 50
MFS, we had
stop,
news
and
yesterday
I'll
that
use
Barclays and
tiers
Atlas are
of
among firms that
40
are exposed
and 80.
to the collapsed UK lender
And watch.
MFS.
I'm in sim. All right. We're going to get our tiers in a couple of seconds.
There's also included Jefferies and
I'm
Wells
up
Fargo,
500
also
in
among
sim, so
lenders
just remember that.
who are linked to the collapsed MFS.
Order submitted.
Okay. Here's our trap orders. Now, it's just a random gold movement trap trade. When it moves 40 ticks, we'll get a fill. What direction would I rather be in? It's been so choppy for the past 30 minutes. I almost don't care which direction. On the day, gold is bullish. So I think I would prefer a long trade. It is moving up for a short trade, but trap trades are great in choppy markets. And there's no law that says you can't put on a random trade without news.
Order canceled.
Okay, so right now we're filled one tier. Right now you're filled one tier. You don't have to do anything. If you just let it sit, it's up $270. You could cancel the outer tier,
Order
move your
canceled.
stop to safety, right? And trail. Expand, might as well expand the target, right? Now I got a little bit close just because I did,
Order
all right?
canceled.
That was a $320 trade. $320 trade. All right. There's no law that says you can't use a trap trade to generate money in a choppy market. If you can come up with tiers that will get you filled but won't get you stopped, right? Or just use a big enough stop that you're comfortable with. Anyway, so RTY got us this morning, got a lot of it back on the test of the low, and it kept going, going, going. And then you're trading a gold micro to the upside, TJ? Is that what you're doing? Okay. MGC to the upside. Gold's bullish. It could definitely get there. Gold on a 15-minute chart. And that's what made me uncomfortable about trading PPI. Now, I'm going to make a video how I made money on PPI, but I'm going to tell the truth in the video, of course, that we thought the market was unsafe to trade for most traders. I'm not going to lie and just make it a profit video, which I could do if I wanted to be dishonest. No one would know except the people that were in the room. Well, we did stream it on YouTube. Someone could check. But I wouldn't do that anyway. Now, the question is the YM done falling this morning? It's difficult to take a long because even with good change in momentum, you're not getting great price agreement with your momentum. It's still making new lows. Still making new lows. Remember I said we do have these filters. We do have these filters. And you can apply a new filter. Structural stall filter is the first one I would try. And not gold, we want the YM. It didn't really make any difference, okay, this morning. That didn't make a difference. Now, there is something else that I don't think would have made a difference either. We do have a number of bars.
Barclays shares hit intraday low last time 4.7%.
I'm looking to see where our signals were generated this morning. So a signal can get generated if a new low is made and momentum changes or goes in the opposite up direction. The biggest problem with the YM this morning is the news is so negative. The market's very negative too. It's down 800. I'm not dying to take shorts, longs when the market's down 800. Anyway, I've got to go. Mm.
Less than a minute to go down to get the US construction spending month to month. Forecast 0.2%, price 0.5%. So right now this is December data, so this is quite delayed. Ten seconds. Zero spot 3%, 0.3%, higher than forecast was 0.2%.
Anyway, I'll see everybody at noon. I'll see everybody at noon. All right. So a mixed open, I would say. Let me close out our YouTube stream. Thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. Appreciate it. So we'll see you